Guys, we've made a few additions to our chainsaw toolbox, or the go box, or the toolbox you grab when you grab a chainsaw to make sure you've got all the stuff you need. If you haven't seen my first video, which is chainsaw equipment or firewood equipment, I think it's called, I'll put a link to it in the description. But check that out first. You'll be able to see what we carry in the toolbox, and yeah, so you'll see what we carry day to day when we go out and cut wood. And these are just two new additions that are going to go in that box. This you've seen already, but this you may not have. So, alright, just head over and watch that and then come back to this one. Alright, thanks guys. Let's get into it. I just want to talk about a few new additions to our chainsaw box, our go box, the toolbox we use for the chainsaws, so we can just grab it and go. We know we've got everything we need. The first new addition is which you've seen me use in a few videos. I used it in my correcting a missharpened chain video. It's a proper filing kit as opposed to the 2-in-1 kit. The 2-in-1 file is fantastic and it makes it almost idiot proof. And it's perfect for sharpening in the field, but personally I prefer this when we're back in the workshop. I feel it's a little bit more accurate, and it certainly doesn't hurt with this tool to be able to read your angles. So this kit comes with everything except for what you see in here, except for the piece of paper. The piece of paper just has some basic, chain guide, what file size you need, what depth your depth gauges should be filed at, all that sort of stuff. So that's good to have. I've put in a permanent marker, a carbureted screwdriver, and a spare rat tail file for the file guide. So besides that, it comes with a flat file for knocking down your rakers. It's a nice short one. It's a bastard cut, I believe. But yeah, there's that. It comes with the tool. You can't really call it any one specific thing because it has a depth gauge marker which you place over the chain and then use your depth gauge file to knock them down to size. It has multiple angles all over it, so you can check to see whatever angle your chain should be at if it's there. And it also has this prong down the end which is helpful for cleaning out your bar groove, and it also has a few incremental measurements on it, so you can see and measure how far down your bar is worn. So that's it. It's great. It's an awesome kit. It is the steel kit. You can buy ones from Oregon, and they're just as good from what I know. I do prefer the file guide, which everybody's seen these, but most of the ones that I see have a clip that comes over the back to hold the file. I'm not a big fan of those. I do prefer the screw down type because I feel there's a better hold on the file and there's less chance of the file moving around. But this is what I prefer. This is my preferred type. It is not that old, despite how dirty it looks. It's only, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks old, something like that. But yeah, it's very dirty already, but it does get handled with gloves that are covered in oil, as well as it gets sat on a dirty workbench and tossed around in the toolbox, which makes it dirty as well. So Velcro closures as well as snaps to hold everything nice and tight. It does have a belt loop, just in case you're walking off and you don't want to carry out your toolbox. I guess you can strap everything to your waist. So that's that. The second part is this. Now I know everybody has spare parts for their saws, but lately I've been carrying them in this. This is actually an old little, when you order a pizza and you get some sides, it usually comes in a box like this, and this box happened to come clean, so I kept it and I covered it in tape to make it a little bit more oil resistant and clean. And now it stays here and it's got spare parts written on it, so I can't be mistaken. A few of the parts we carry is obviously an air filter for each of the saws. This is for the 210 and this is for the 029. We carry those spare clutch springs that we ended up with from our clutch spring replacement video, because as you know, you should always replace them in sets, but it's handy to hang on to the 2 good springs because they'll get you through a day's work when you can come home and replace all the springs properly. We carry 2 extra lengths of starter rope, because nothing sucks more than busting a starter rope when you're out in the field. It's just heartbreaking. And you know, with the tools we carry in the toolbox, we can easily swap one of these out. As well as spark plugs. They're all the same, because as far as I know, all the steel chainsaws take the same spark plug. So we get 2 spares for each to make 4. The only thing that I do want to make a few additions to this as well is some fuel filters, as well as some extra sprocket drums for both the saws. Maybe one for each. I mean, there's no point in carrying 2. This is fantastic because we always know that pretty much whatever problem happens on the saw, whether it gets choked out or the starter rope breaks or just plain old won't start, we've got a few parts to sort out the problem, to sort out the day or the wood cutting session ending problems. The only thing with the clutch drums here, that will end your day if one wears out on you, but that should be something you check as part of your daily maintenance. And if it's got a worn out sprocket drum, it should be replaced before you start cutting again. So that's on your back if you bust a sprocket drum or just the sprocket itself when you're out cutting wood. You should be on top of that. So that's it, guys. That's the 2 new additions. I did also cover the spare chains in a little cardboard box in tape. I couldn't find any decent plastic containers, so I took 10 minutes and covered them in tape so they don't soak up all the oil and stuff that ends up through the toolbox. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.